Hi, it's Kathy from Bishopstone Yarns. I'd like to welcome you all here to episode 30 of the Bishopstone Yarns podcast. And this is a mainly crafting podcast, so mainly about knitting, spinning and sewing. And this episode is a sit and spin episode. What I usually do is one episode I'll do more spinning related, and then the next episode I do more about my knitting and sewing and crafts and things that I've been making. So as I was saying, this one is a spinning podcast, and I'd like to welcome you all here. And you will find me, I'm coming from Tasmania, which is the little island at the south of Australia. And at the moment you find me in the corner of my studio at my house. And I'd like to welcome you all here. If you're a returning viewer, hi, it's great to see you again. Thank you so much for spending some time with me and crafting along with me. And if you're a new viewer, welcome. It's really great to see you. It's always great to spend some time with people, crafting people, or people who are just interested in spending some time together, sitting down, taking some time to relax and do a bit of crafting, which I'm hoping this is what you can do here in this sit and spin kind of time, is sit down, grab some craft while I do a bit of spinning and talking, and we can just have a nice relaxing time together. If you like the video, it'd be really great if you can give me the thumbs up. If you're not subscribed, that would be great if you could subscribe as well. It just kind of helps me out in this little area of the YouTubes, and I guess it helps other people find this video as well. Also, I suppose I should tell people where they can find me on and around the internet. You can find me as Bishopstone Yarns on Facebook. You can find me as Bishopstone Yarns on Instagram. And if you're on Ravelry, you can find me as Bishopstone. I also have a blog called Bishopstone Yarns on Blogger. I don't use that as much as I used to, but I still do post. I kind of usually try and post all the episodes, YouTube episodes up on there, and yeah, hopefully get around to putting in some photos and some blog posts as well. So that's enough about me and where you can find me. As I was saying, this is a spinning episode, and I've got here my e-spinner, my Hanson e-spinner, which I thought I would do some spinning on today. It has been, well, it has been a long time since I've done any spinning, and it feels like a really, really long time since I've done any spinning. For those people who've been watching before, you'll know that I had done a huge amount of spinning in July for Ravelry's Tour de Fleece, where you kind of spin along to the while the Tour de France bicycle race is on. So I spun up a whole heap of wool for a jumper, the Birkin, which I have actually started. So you'll be able to see that next episode, or my knitting episode. And so I have been doing a lot of knitting and some sewing, and have found, been distracted by a few new sewing projects as well. And so yeah, I haven't really done any spinning for a while. So I thought, I spent a fair bit of time actually trying to decide what it was I was going to sit down and spin today. And also, for those people who've been watching before, you might remember this shawl, which was my version of the Danish Kellingsjarl shawl, which I had just finished. And I also had spun this up on this yarn up on one of my sit and spin episodes. I'll just bring it forward, see if you can see it a bit better. So this shawl is made up of one single of silk and one single of merino. The merino was a solid colour and the silk was the gradiated, the changing colour, purple colour in this was the silk. So when I was knitting this up, I actually really like this, and I like the feel of it, and it is really soft. It's really soft and light, and it has, not that you can really see, but it does have a really nice drape to it, which made me think what I would like to do is then maybe knit a summer top out of a similar sort of yarn. So one strand silk and one strand of mohair. I thought that would be really nice for a summery top. Now, I haven't actually ever really knitted myself very many summery tops, and especially not t-shirts and tees, and I guess you can't really call them t-shirts either. I guess they're called tees, but the short-sleeved summery tops. And I thought, well, I had already started spinning up, and I have this bobbin here of a silk and wool mix, which has, it's a little bit hard to show you, but it does have a really lovely shine on it. And I thought maybe I could spin up some more of that. I have another packet here of it, and it just says that it's merino and silk. And for those people who are interested, the shade is MS 1205. And I've got 100 grams here. I think this one here might be 100 grams as well. So I thought I might spin up another 100 grams and then choose something to apply it with. I'm not quite sure. I was thinking maybe grey, even though I'm not sure about the idea of having a black summery t-shirt. I don't usually wear black very much. Well, do I wear black at all? Well, definitely not black, all black, but this does have the white flecks in it. And so I thought I would spin this up and I'll see what I think. So I'm sorry about the crinkling, but I'm going to open this packet. Now, for those people who want to have a look, there's just the little tag. I had bought this from my local guild, from their shop, and I'm not actually sure. They source it from Australia. I should really know where it's from, but I don't know exactly where it's from. So this is the fibre. Comes in a long, where we go to the end, just comes in a really long kind of roving, and I might break it up and strip it back a little bit. There's a tiny bit here that I might start spinning first. Just sit this over here. So there's a small amount here. You can probably see the white silk in it, and I think I might just strip it into some slightly more manageable pieces, and then I'll do a similar thing to this. I'll break it up later, and if I can remember where the so I might just break it into kind of lengths about this long, and then just before I spin this, when I get to this one, I'll break this up into maybe 2 or 3, probably three smaller pieces, and then spin that. And yeah, so I might help if I turn the power on to my e-spinner because okay, we'll just get going here. And just get this one started here for a minute. And I'm just going to have to play around with the tension a bit, because I have, like I was saying, I haven't done any spinning for quite a while. And I do feel, I mean, I really enjoy spinning, but it is also really hard to fit everything else in, because especially after I had done all the spinning in July, and I'd spent a long time spinning and spinning up enough yarn so that I could start knitting my jumper. And then, of course, now I'm knitting the jumper, I just want to knit the jumper and get that project finished, and then look at what I'm going to make next. I also you know, have been doing a bit of sewing, like I was saying, and so I have missed doing my spinning. And okie dokie, well, we are underway now. I had to just have a little play around and the tension. So I don't know if you can see, but there is a tension knob over on this side. So I had to just tighten up the tension, which runs around here, to make it, it wasn't actually pulling the yarn into the bobbin at all. And so I had to just play around with that to tighten it up a bit so it would pull in the yarn. I thought we didn't want to see me mucking around with all of that. So away we go. And so there we are. And yes, so getting back to talking about what I have in my mind to make with this yarn, yeah, hopefully I will be able to find a nice t-shirt design. I know that I've been watching a few podcasts, of course, and one of the podcasts I like to watch is Knits and Pieces. And I know that a little while ago on Knits and Pieces, Noelle had knitted a really nice summery t-shirt that had a little panel of lace on the side, and it kind of came down, kind of started off quite thin, I think, at the top, and then became like a little triangular panel of lace. And I really liked the look of that. And so something like that I might think is what I'm kind of thinking about maybe using for this. But like I was saying, I haven't decided what I'm going to apply this with, whether I apply it with a nice silvery grey. I do have some nice grey commercial tops that I could spin up and apply with this, which I think would be quite nice. Yeah, I'll have to have a look around and see what other patterns I might be able to find on Ravelry, and see what might look good in a bit of a silk and wool kind of blend. So even though I haven't been spinning and I have been doing lots of knitting, it has meant that I've had a bit of time to be watching a bit of, you know, of YouTube and watching some other podcasts and doing things like that. And so the other day I actually came across a channel, a YouTube channel called, I have to stop and think about it, it was called Kevin the Countryman. And so, and the video that I watched was, it's set in England, and so Kevin the Countryman goes around to a lot of really beautiful English towns, and goes for a little walk around and videos his walks. And so this is probably about a 15-minute video, and he went to visit the little beautiful little town of Bishopstone, which for any of you who may have been around in my very first episode, I was talking about why this is called Bishopstone yarns and why my yarns are called Bishopstone yarns. We used to live in a house. We moved a couple of years ago, but we had lived for 22 years in a house that was called Bishopstone. And we bought it from the people who had built the house. And they were an English couple, and they lived very close to this town of Bishopstone, and that's where they used to meet. And so, yes, so our house was called Bishopstone, and then I ended up calling my yarns Bishopstone Yarns. And that's why this podcast is also called Bishopstone Yarns. And so this video is, it's well worth looking at. It is such a beautiful town. It has the old kind of like whitewashed houses. It has some beautiful thatched roofed houses and little laneways that run in behind the back of the houses. And he takes you for a little wander through these little back, well, they're not even really lanes, they're just little paths, but beautifully kept paths past beautiful gardens. And in the middle of the walk, which I was going to say in the middle of the town, but I actually don't know if it's the middle of the town or whereabouts in the town it is, you come across this beautiful, there's a stream and a beautiful pond, and right next to a group of these lovely thatched roofed houses. And yeah, no, it's just a lovely little wander through the town of Bishopstone. And yeah, and it really did make me think, oh, I would love to live in a little village like that, in a little town where you can just meander around and have these lovely little paths. I do like walking down paths. I love looking at gardens and seeing what people have got growing. And it was just such an quintessential English garden that if you're into gardens and things like that, it's well worth going to have a little look at his video. Now, before I continue, I'll just show you, I'm just going to split this up into, I think 3 will be enough. So I've just kind of made 3 slivers, and then I will just start spinning from here. And I absolutely love the small English town. I like the old buildings. I like seeing the gardens and things like that. I think, we grew up on a lot of BBC English TV, and one of my favourite authors is Agatha Christie, and of course most of her novels are all set in quaint little English villages, quaint and beautiful, even though of course there are murders. But it reminds me of another podcast that I've been watching. So I like watching, there's an English lady who has a podcast, and it's called Stitched by Mrs. D. And she's been doing Vlogtober. So she's been putting out a little video each day in October. And so I have been watching her, and so she has just started reading one of my favourite books of all time, and that is Halloween Party by Agatha Christie. And of course it is set, as a lot of Agatha Christie's stories are, in a small village in a lovely big huge old house with a absolutely stunning garden, and well, the first scene or the first murder is set at a children's Halloween party, and I just love it. I love the whole the atmosphere, I guess, of an English village, and I love the idea of an English garden and all those kind of things. I just love it. I guess that's why one of the reasons why I really, really like the Agatha Christie books, because they're very easy to read. They're a quick read. They're easy, and I just try and imagine that, you could be living in a small town, a small village like that, and not so much with the murders involved, but, there's usually gardens involved and beautiful houses and interesting characters. And I know she's not everybody's kind of cup of tea. Not everyone likes her. Some people think her books are a little bit too, I shouldn't say staged, but a little bit too simple, or that she doesn't give you all the clues until the very end. But I think it's the concept of a cute English garden, an English village, an English house, and English characters that I really, really enjoy. Yes. So I think that Paula from Stitch by Mrs. D is enjoying Halloween Party, which is good. And of course, the TV series of Agatha Christie, or Hercule Poirot, that has David Suchet in it, that version of Halloween Party is absolutely fantastic. And you get to see, because a lot of the scenes are set outside in this absolutely beautiful garden, lovely English garden, and that's always really nice. And so that's also one of my favourite one of my favourite TV go-to programs that I like watching. And of course, I like watching Midsummer Murders as well, and I have seen that so many times. I think I've seen every episode so many times. But that's another one that's set around lovely idyllic English villages, and there's usually beautiful gardens, a country fair, and very eccentric characters. And I think because we live all the way around the world in Australia, it's I guess it's the, I shouldn't say the stereotype, but it's the image of an English village that I really, really like. Whether or not it's quite as quaint and as beautiful living in those villages, I don't know. But I like to think that, it would be lovely to live in one of those cute little cottages and live in a cute little village. I think I could do without the murders, though. But yes. So there's a couple of programs that, I really, really like to watch, and some of the books that I like to read. Yes. Just thinking, what else? I have been also watching, I watch the podcast from Kate at the Last Homely House. And she has just recently had a video out. She went to the quilting fair, and so that was really, really interesting to have a look at that and see her showing some of the quilts from the English quilt fair, and interviewing and talking to some of the quilters. And she also talked to Kay Fassett, and Brandon, whose last name I've kind of just forgotten at the moment. And yeah, so that was really interesting. We've just had a quilt fair here in Hobart, which I will talk about in the next podcast, which is my kind of knitting podcast. I won't be talking about that now. And Kate from the last Homely House, she also is a bit of a spinner as well, so she does a bit of spinning, and she's just recently set up a new little area for her spinning wheel in her, I don't know if she calls it her entry, her little porch, or I'm not quite sure what she calls it actually, but yeah, so I really enjoy looking and watching podcasts where people are, I was going to say multi-crafters, but I think most of us are multi-crafters, aren't we? We kind of usually find that we enjoy making, and it's not usually just one thing that one type of craft that we enjoy. We usually find that there are more than one area that we're interested in, and sometimes I wish I was interested in less. As I was saying, some of my recent time has been taken up with a new project that I've been doing, and sometimes I think I've got enough projects on the go as it is. I don't really need something really, really new to be doing, but well, you can't help yourself, can you? Sometimes you come across something and you just want to have a go and learn a new skill, or do something that uses some of the skills you've already got, but you get to make something a little bit different to what you normally do. Yes. So that's the good thing about doing lots of knitting, is that I have had time to catch up on some of the podcasts that I like watching. Of course, there are other podcasts as well who I like watching, but I can always talk about them another time. The other thing I have been watching as well is on Netflix. I have just watched a series called The Watcher, which I think it was kind of described as a psychological suspense. And sometimes when they give these descriptions, it's always a little bit difficult to know exactly what, their concept of what a psychological thriller and my concept of a psychological thriller may not be the same thing. But no, I really enjoyed it, actually. I really needed to get to the end of the series because I wanted to know what happened at the end. Yes, even though there actually was no, well, I better not say anything actually, for those people who want to watch it, but it is well worth watching if you're interested in those sorts of psychological kind of suspense dramas. It's the story of, as so many movies seem to start, or series seem to start, a family who move from the city to the suburbs in the US and find their dream home, move into their dream home, and then of course, things happen, and it's no longer the house of their dreams in terms of what they were hoping for their life, and the reasons that they moved, and feeling safe and all those kind of things. But I have watched quite a few movies and TV series that start with that premise that people move for whatever reason, and they move to a new house, and they think they've found the house of their dreams, or they're moving somewhere quiet and safe. And then, of course, the twist is it is not quiet and safe, and it is not the dream of the house of their dreams. But I don't know if it happens that often. There seem to be an awful lot of movies about it. I don't know if it's because, is that our greatest fear, that we move to a house that we think is going to be our dream house and things don't work out? Or is it that it actually happens more often than we think it does? I don't know. I mean, I don't really know anyone who has moved house and had a really terrible experience in that house, the new house, or I haven't had a terrible experience moving to our new house. So maybe it happens and we just don't hear about it. But or maybe it's just that it's happened to one or two people and it does make for a really good TV movie or series. Maybe that's it. Maybe it's just a good story. And I mean, I keep going back and watching programs that are like this. So yeah, I guess there must be lots of people out there who like to also have a look at movies and TV series that are exactly like that, where someone moves into a house and, yeah, things start going wrong for them. That sounds terrible, doesn't it? That we like to watch something like that. But anyway, maybe it makes us feel safer because it's not happening to us and we are all nice and happy and safe where we are. Yes. Well, that is basically what I have been up to while I've been knitting away and working on my knitting projects and catching up on what other people have been up to, what they have been doing. I also watch a few floss tube people, and so that has been interesting as well, trying to get motivated to continue on with my, or not continue on, but finish my cross stitches and stuff like that. I still have to catch up with some of the spinning podcasts that I watch because I really enjoy watching and learning and hearing what other people are spinning and what they're doing. And there are some really great spinning YouTubers out there. I think what I might do is next time I do a spinning podcast, I will have a little chat about some of the spinning podcasts that I've been watching, and also hopefully next time when I do the spinning podcast, I will probably have a better idea of the type of jumper or t-shirt, knitted t-shirt I might make from this yarn. I guess the first thing I need to do is work out, once I've applied this, what weight it's going to be, and then have a look around and see on Ravelry what patterns I can find that other people have made. And yeah, and then that would probably be my next project, next hand spun project for me to knit. But I also need to decide what colour I'm going to apply with this. Even though I think a lovely grey, steely grey, would be a really nice colour to add to this, I'm just wondering if I want something with a little bit more colour in it, especially if it's going to be like a summery top. I'm not sure. Do I just want a grey, black grey summer top, or do I want something with a bit more colour? I don't know. I will have to have a think about that. And yes, I could go, I don't know. Now I'm just wondering, do I want something, I mean, I could go for a really bright contrasty kind of colour, which would be, I could go for something like in red, and that would be a really high contrast, or I could go for something a bit lighter or muted, I probably don't want to go into the blue range because I've just spun up all the blue yarn for the Birkin, and I've got a couple of blue jumpers at the moment, so it would be nice to have something a bit more summery, something a bit different, some colour that I don't actually already have. Yeah, well, it's something to think about at least. And I'm quite happy with how this is spinning up. This is spinning up really nicely. I may actually ply this on my major craft. I'm just looking over here because my major craft is sitting here next to me. So even though I might do these singles on here, I might then ply this up. I think I'll ply it up on my major craft. I didn't actually check to see how many more bobbins I have free from the e-spinner, because I may not have enough bobbins to actually spin it, the other two bobbins of singles and then ply it up. I'll have to wait and see. But anyway, that is a project that I can work on. It's always good to have something to be working towards with my hand spinning, since in the past I have spent a lot of time just, of course, spinning, because I enjoy spinning, but it's nice to have a project and know that if I'm going to spin this up, then I have something in mind that I'm going to use it for. And yeah, and especially if it be something nice for summer, that would be really good as well. Well, I think that's probably where I might leave it at the moment. I'd like to say thank you once again for spending some time with me, and I hope that you've had a chance to do a little bit of crafting, whether it's spinning or knitting, crocheting, sewing, whatever you're doing. But I hope you've had a nice relaxing time. I hope that you've had a nice relaxing couple of weeks as well. And if you're in Australia, I hope you're not in one of those areas that's affected by the floods at the moment. Even the north of Tasmania has had a lot of flooding. We're very lucky where we are. We live quite close to the beach, but we're also on the top of a hill, so we're nowhere that would be flooded out. Yeah, but yeah, I've been watching the news, and yeah, my our hopes and prayers go out to all those people who are affected by the floods. So keep safe, and hopefully no one has lost any of their craft things or their craft studios, because I can think that would just be really devastating. I mean, it's devastating enough to lose furniture and things like that, but to lose a studio would be absolutely terrible as well. So I hope everyone's keeping safe, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye.